Today we're talking about discounts and markups using percentages to determine the price of an item given a discount or a tax or tip on the bill. And maybe the combination of the two, we'll do a couple of those. But it turns out that you probably know how to do this, I would assume. But we're going to go through a couple of problems. Stores frequently discount or markup items. So, which is often the case. Like right now, if you go shopping, everything's like 30% off or 40% off. And it's important to figure out what that is so you know how much you're going to end up paying. Discounts are subtracted from the original price, and markups are added. Sure. So markups typically happen if you're a business and you buy stuff wholesale. Then you would add extra to the cost, and that would be the markup. The selling price or sale price is the amount the customer ends up paying. All right, that's the amount the customer pays. So we want to find the discount and markup for each and then find the final selling price. So we're going to do this in 2 steps, but there are multiple ways to do questions like these. You're going to want your calculator fairly handy. And we are rounding to the nearest cent. Why are we rounding to the nearest cent? Because we're talking about money, right? So does it make sense to use dollars and cents? Yeah, it does. All right. So we're talking about money. So keep that in mind. So you go to the store. You find a pair of jeans. They're $58. That's what the sticker says. But they are 15% off. Ladies and gentlemen, before I do any more, what is 100% of $58? $58. Roughly, what's 50% of $58? 29? Good. Yeah. So it's important that you can think, hey, 100% is the whole thing. 50% should be half. That's like $29, okay? Is 15% going to be more or less than that? Less. Okay. So what we can do is we're going to take our $58 and we're going to multiply it by 15%. Well, 15% is the decimal 0.15. Anytime you use that percent, and we just want to multiply it, we can just move that decimal 2 places. So we're going to use our calculator and multiply 0.15 times the 58. That is what? What does 8.70 mean? $8.70. What? Is that the cost of the jeans? That's the 15% off. That's the amount you're going to save. So we're going to save $8.70. So the discount is $8.70. How do we figure out the actual selling price? Subtract from 58. Yeah, so we're going to take our $58 and we're going to subtract that $8.70. So 58 minus $8.70 is 49.3, or in dollars and cents, $49.30. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. We're going to figure out what we're either saving or what we're extra paying on. So here we have a bicycle, $295.49. Man, bikes are so expensive. But hey, this one is 60% off. So what should I do to figure out how much what my discount is? Yeah, so $295. I'm going to take my $295.49 and I'm going to multiply it by what? 0.60. Yeah, we're just going to move that decimal 2 places. So 0.60. So let's see, 295.49 times 0.6 or 0.60 and I get 177.29. What is that? That's the discount. That's how much we're saving, 177.29. Then how do we figure out the actual selling price of the bicycle? Subtract the original price, $295.49, minus that discount, the 177.29, and we get 117? 295.49 minus, I'm going to just round as my answer there. All right, there we go. So, yeah, 118.20. So the selling price is $118.20. Does that make sense? Because it's 60% off. What's half of 300? 150, and we're going to even take off more than that. So it should be way less than $150, and it is. So that's good. All right, let's look at a markup. Oftentimes, like a wedding dress, this is a great example. Great example. If you're a business, you buy a wedding dress at the cost. The cost for the business would be $625, and it's typical that business would mark up the price of the bridal gown so that they make some money on it, right? So, again, we're going to multiply our price, $625, times what? 0.03. Very good. We got to move that decimal 2 places. So 0.03. And that's going to give me 625 times 0.03, $18.75. What does that represent? The markup. Yeah, that's the markup, $18.75 that they're going to do what to the price? Add, yeah, because they're marking it up. They're going to take that price that they had to pay, the $625, and they're going to add the $18.75, which is going to give them, oh dear, $643, yeah, and 75 cents. 643.75. 643.75. All right, so all we're doing is figuring out what our discount or markup's going to be, and then we just need to either subtract it or add it to our original price. Is that pretty easy? Yeah? All right, let's do the digital camera one. All right, so I'm going to take $250 and I'm going to multiply it by 0.12. Yes, that decimal moves 2 places, so 0.12. What is 250 times 0.12? 30. That's $30, and that's the markup that the camera company is going to, or the camera business is going to put on the camera. And then we're going to take our $250 price and add the $30 markup. So that's, yeah, 280. Very good. Okay, fantastic. Do you have questions for me? So easy, right? Okay, perfect. So, let's talk about tax and tip. My grandmother taught me how to calculate sales tax. And so I just want to go over this really fast. Let's say your bill is $40 at the restaurant. Okay, that's your bill. That's the ticket they give you at the end of your meal, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, if your bill is $40, can I ask you, hey, what's 10% of 40? 4, yes, $4. 10% of that bill is $4. Okay? So what would 20% be? $8. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because $4 plus $4 is $8. 10% plus another 10% would be 20%. Does that make sense to you? Isn't that easy? Yeah? Okay. So, one more time here. If your bill was $75, what's 10% of that bill? Yes, 7.50. All you have to do is move the decimal one place, and that'll give you 10%. It's like the easiest thing ever. All right? So what would 20% be? 15. How'd you get 15? 750, and 750 is $15. Okay? And so this is how we can figure out, if you want to give 15%, it should be between the 7 and the 15, right? And somewhere in between those. So, really easy to figure out 10% of something. All right, let's look here. Sales tax is a percentage added to the selling price, and tip is also a percentage that we get to add to the total bill, which I hope you know. I make my kids figure out tax all the time. I tell you that story? Yeah? All right, turn page. All right, number 9. Find the final price of a 800. Oh, I just bought a new laptop for this exact price. That's so funny. Find the final price of a $849.99 laptop with 6% sales tax. What should we do? Multiply? Sure. We're going to take the price of our laptop, $849.99, and we're going to multiply it by 0.06. Again, 6%. We have to take the decimal and move it 2 places. So that gives us 0.06. So just so you're really clear there. All right, so I'm going to take my $849.99 times 0.06, and that is, what is that? $51. This 9 right here, way out here, causes the 99 cents to round up to a whole dollar. So it becomes $51. That is the tax. So this is our tax that they're going to add to our bill. So $849.99 plus the $51 in tax. So $849.99 plus the 51 is $900.99. Is it? What's a really good laptop? That's the new Apple MacBook Air. I love my MacBook Air. Amazing. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's just do number 11. So number 11, we have a $105 watch. It's selling for 30% off. What can I do with that information? Yes, 105 times 0.3. That is the discount. So 105 times 0.3. So we have a discount of $31.50. What should I do with that to figure out my price that I'm going to pay? How much do I have to, subtract. Yeah, I started with $105. I'm going to subtract the $31.50, and that's what I'm going to end up paying, minus $31.50. So that is $73.50. So this is the cost that I'm going to pay for my watch. But then we want to know, find the final price of the watch if there is sales tax. So So here's my bill for my watch. The bill is $73.50. That's what I'm going to pay. But now what do we have to do to incorporate the sales tax? Multiply it by the sales tax. Yeah, so we're going to take $73.50 times our sales tax. What's the sales tax? 0.08, yep. So that's our sales tax. So $73.50 times 0.08, and that is $5.88, and that's the tax. So what do we need to do now? Yeah, add the bill with the tax. So $73.50 plus the $5.88, and that's going to give us the bill plus the tax. Plus tax. So $73.50 plus $5.88. Which is $79.38. And so that is the final price. All right, so none of your problems are doubles. I took that off today. But do you have questions for me? Okay, super easy. Read carefully, I think is the key there. Read carefully. Keep your calculators handy. I updated your grades today. If you'll remember, I'm not going to be here on Monday. All right, you are expected to stay in your seats working quietly. On Monday, there will be a catch-up day, so you'll get an opportunity to complete any assignments that you're missing from Chapter 4. So you should work on Chapter 4 stuff. And there will also be, if you're all caught up, there's also going to be an extra credit assignment if you want to get extra credit and also help study for your test next week. Okay?